It's now the 1900 turn, 7 p.m. at Ligny, Quatre. That'll leave us 3 more hours, maybe, I think 10 more turns left in the game. So it's time to get things moving, I think. First, take a look at the current leader casualties. These 3 French, and those 2 are French. The rest are all allies. These are all deceased, including all of the Brunswick contingent leaders. These will be returning maybe by the end of the game. I can't remember exactly how many turns they have left to be out. These 2 will be returning shortly. I don't think this guy can return this game. The number of hours he's out exceeds the remaining left in the game. So a whole lot of command missing from the Allied side, and a little bit on the French side. The French have the benefit of a huge army staff, so all of these positions have been filled, whereas the British, having lost so many, don't have as many ADCs to fill those gaps. So they're hurting. These are the permanent losses for the Prussians at Ligny. So you have a huge number of battalions here for the First Corps, plus a lot of artillery and light companies for the First Corps. These 2 artillery units could be returned to service if more of their kind, 3 of their kind, also succumb, so they're still eligible to be reclaimed. Then the Second Corps has lost 2 full battalions and some light troops there. The French at Ligny, that's it for permanent losses. It's not overwhelming, but it's enough to hurt them. I mean, the 7th Division has taken serious losses to leave them in pretty bad shape. 14th Division as well. But they're not on a morale level, which is the big thing. All those losses for the First Corps has put them on a morale level. It's a similar story at Quatre. Lots of light companies out, but 2 full battalions of Nassau, 1 of the Dutch-Belgian, 4 British, and 3 companies of guns. That's a fair amount of permanent losses. The the French, aren't quite as badly off. They have 7 permanent losses, which is pretty significant, but their morale level is only on level 1, whereas the British are on 2, and that will make it much harder for them to rally the routed units and hopefully recover that morale level. Starting at Quatre, what will the Allies do? Wellington himself is here on the west side here. Along with the Prince of Orange, they should have plenty of command to get every brigade on this side of the field moving, 3rd and 1st Divisions. Since Picton has virtually nothing left of his 5th Division, I'm going to leave him alone to do the best he can. Really, he only has a Hanoverian brigade there. So what will happen? Unfortunately, the British are now on morale level 2, which means there'll be a significant morale disadvantage for them when they go to attacking this direction. On the plus side, maybe that won't matter very much, since the 2nd Corps for the French is also on a morale level, and the 6th Division is chewed up so badly they may not be able to put up much of a fight anyway. So that will be the plan for the British. Get the 3rd and the 1st Divisions moving, attack, push the 6th Division out of the way, possibly get down the road to retake the crossroads. It's kind of a moral victory at this point. Let's look at it from the French perspective. It's good and bad for the French. Good is the 9th Division, firmly placed here around the crossroads, and in very, very good position and good state. This whole regiment here has not even been touched yet. Guns in both places. Some more guns here they can limber up and get into position. And the British in front of them have basically melted away. So they're in fine shape right here in the center. On the right, this division is chewed up, but they don't have anybody in front of them, so it may not matter. The reserve cavalry here, the heavy cavalry hasn't been touched. The other cavalry brigade has been chewed up a little bit, and they will receive some more heavy cavalry reinforcements. The bad part is the 6th Division over here. Routed and eliminated units have depleted and diminished this division pretty significantly. This poor unit's still stuck over here. It really has no way to move. It's out of command. It'll never be in command, so we're just going to wait for it to either be bypassed or destroyed. And then the 2nd Cavalry is right here, the Light Cavalry Division. And it's taken some hits. Right now it's just trying to screen in skirmish mode. But likely the French will look to hold strong here, possibly shift the brigade this direction, possibly pull back a little bit just to consolidate. And they will probably shift all of the heavy cavalry over here to this open area to keep pressure on the British. But they have no intention of attacking anymore. No need to go any further up this road, or should never have gone this far as they did west down the road. That was a key mistake, and actually kind of a historical one. But they did clear this side of the road here, which is, an operational success. So the French will continue to try to preserve that, and probably by the end of the game, if they have a chance, just for gaming victory point purposes, they'll try to exit some units off the road to the east there to Ligny. Staying with the French here at Ligny, see we have the 1st Division of the 1st Corps entering. Several more divisions will enter along that road over the course of the next hour and 20 minutes, I think. I don't know if they'll be able to do tremendous damage, but they will be more or less unopposed. A lot of cavalry up here, but that whole flank is open and could present a really good opportunity for the French. But that's not where their main avenue of attack is going to be. That would be right here in the center of the line, with the Guard striking right in the heart of the Prussian line. This is a very vulnerable point. They've established a grand battery of the Guard artillery here. It's already chewed up a lot of the Prussian artillery. Let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5 increments of artillery wiped out already just in, I think it's been one turn, one fire phase and one artillery chit. Have the Chasseurs, the Young Guard, and the Grenadiers all poised to make their strike this direction. Now the French would like to clear out this elbow and clear the way for the Guard so they don't have to waste time here. But otherwise, the rest of the 3rd Corps is really just here to hold this arm, this flank, and they're in good position to do that. And the 4th Corps is similarly poised to hold the right flank in front of Ligny. Still have not made even one shot at Ligny yet. So all those interesting fire rules for the town haven't been put to use at all. But I think it's a tough nut to crack, and I'm satisfied with the progress the French are making so far. Now the last bit that they have is this heavy cavalry. This is the 4th Reserve Cavalry. They have not moved in hours, but they are poised to either go this direction and help the Guard, or possibly go east and help the rest of the Reserve Cavalry. This is the escort right here. The Guard escort squadrons. Let me ask you, why are these cavalry squadrons commanded by someone who does not have a cavalry modifier? Like, he's an infantry and artillery guy leading the cavalry. But they haven't moved in hours. I just started to bring them up for the heck of it, because I had a command point I wanted to squander. I don't anticipate them doing anything. Which brings us to the east. And the French are in full defensive posture here. It's the 1st Reserve Cavalry there. And that's actually the 4th Division of the 1st Reserve over here in skirmish mode, just protecting and screening. Got the 2nd Reserve Cavalry Dragoons here. They've already done some good work, but they're not trying to take the initiative on this side. They're waiting to see what happens, what develops, and their object is just to keep the Prussians at bay. Now how about those Prussians? What can the 3rd Corps do here? This cavalry is over here just to try to spread out the French as much as possible. Hasn't had much of an effect yet. We'll probably have to launch a couple charges over here. We had 5-3 advantage. One of the regiments is routed back here and doesn't seem to want to recover. So we might be able to break up that defense here. But the plan is to start to spend some command. Truly some command. 2 and 3 points, probably this first turn, and maybe 1 or 2 for remaining turns, to try to first move the artillery up to here, start some cannonade to try to push back some of those dragoons. Going to waste a lot of command moving forces across the stream up here. It is kind of a waste. The reason it's a waste is that these skirmishers, their zones of influence cost a lot of movement points. So effectively I have to use a command point to move 1 hex. Or I guess possibly 2. They can move 1 across, say they're going to assault. The skirmishers will fire and then retreat. Then I think they can advance into the hex they were going to assault. So 2 hexes per turn per command point. That's going to be very slow going. But hey, in an hour they could be up to here, and that's going to put a real crimp in the French position. The 11th Brigade is probably going to... Damn, there's no good way to go. Maybe they could go this way as well. Once the 10th Brigade clears out, they can go in behind them and get on the side of this of these French Dragoons. Not much of a plan, but our command situation makes it very difficult to get a lot of maneuver and fighting out of these guys, since they can't maneuver a corps so far removed from the army leader. Here at Ligny, we're just poised to defend. Our defensive line for the 1st Corps really extends around here. This is cavalry, a couple of battalions of the 2nd and 3rd Brigades, and this is the 1st Brigade here, and the 4th is still in the town. But they're not really able to fight stoutly. Any push would probably knock them right out. But we already know that probably the biggest activity is going to be here in the center against the French. Our 2nd Corps gun line has already taken some hits, already gotten chewed up. We do have the 8th Brigade behind those guns, prepared to defend. I don't like the idea of attacking these guns. We don't have a good spot to take them. Don't like the idea of hitting them head on. They're just too strong. What I do have is this cavalry regiment right here. It's Landwehr, meaning they won't charge unless we pass a morale check, but maybe we'll launch them on a charge to try to get behind here. I really like the idea of getting them behind here and just trying to run down some of the ammunition wagons. Getting rid of ammunition wagons is frankly a really good idea. They're easy targets and they disable artillery. No shots, no firing. The rest of the brigades are just trying to defend here. They've been more or less pulled in. We have the 5th, 6th, and 7th all in this area right here. So all the Prussian reserves are at this point committed. And that is a bad place to be when you're looking at the Guard getting ready to make an attack. Over on this side, the mass of the cavalry. I was thinking this was a really bad idea, and it is a bad idea. And I was thinking I was going to try to assemble this cavalry and try to get in behind the French and do some damage. Now they see the First Corps advancing up this road and they think, I guess our job now is to screen. But we've really left ourselves too exposed behind Ligny itself. It would have been nice to have at least one of these brigades behind Ligny to countercharge any advances by the guard. So that's where we stand. That's what we're going to try to do in the remaining turns of the game. And we'll start right now with the command phase. Let's look at our command allocation here at Quatre for the Allies. Wellington's Ride, he started out here, yielded 3 command points, 3 maneuver units. Both brigades of the 3rd Division, 1 of the 1st. And the Prince of Orange used his command point to activate the other brigade of the 1st Division. So all these units are ready to go. I think that light company is actually out of command, so I have to mark them. Don't have any out of command markers left, but so a large proportion of the command for the Quatre field is centered right here, as promised. Still have this group of, including that one, of the Brunswick contingent. No one has command because no one has leaders. There are, I think this is part of it as well, there are 3 different brigades, so I'm never going to be able to put the contingent in any kind of useful command since I can only have 1 under command. So I don't think I have an ADC that I can use for the purpose. So they're just going to continue to float out here, not moving unless they're attacked by the French. Now the last command point is put right here. It's Picton's. He has to spend that on somebody on his reserve corps. Brunswick is out. The Hanoverians are fine here. There's only 2 battalions of the 5th Division, British, so what the heck. Activated him because he could move that battalion. Just spending a command point. Now from the other perspective for the French, did not activate the 2nd Corps. Well, the 2nd Corps is activated. I did not spend the command point to make a maneuver unit out of them. They really only have 1 division here. Don't want to move them really at this point. So we spent 1 point on the 3rd Reserve Cavalry, this 12th Division, and 1 point on the 6th Division just to keep them retreating this direction. Hoped to get light cavalry initiative here and failed. Hoped to get light cavalry initiative for the Dutch Belgians and failed. So that's going to be it. 2 for the French and 5 for the British here at Quatre. Over here at Ligny, starting with the French, spend 1 point here on the 1st Division of the 1st Corps. Their continued arrival. They were eligible for an administrative march, MU, but I don't have a good terminus hex for them along this road. Really, there's nothing there until they meet the Prussians, so couldn't really do that and stay true to the purpose of the rule. Moving forward, we kind of like the position that we're in here. The 3rd Corps is basically set, and they're going to more or less just exchange fire with the Prussians to keep them in place. But there are some holes in the line, so we thought we'd spend the command point here to fill those gaps and potentially make an assault or 2 if we think we can get away with it. But most of the focus is going to be on this center area. And since the guard is activated, we could use 1 command point to create a maneuver unit that would maneuver the entire corps, including the Grand Battery there. Opted to spend a point on the heavy cavalry. And the heavy cavalry is going to move that direction effectively committing them to the center of the battle. Moving out to the east, committed one command point here to the light cavalry of the 1st Reserve. Now those were all of our command points for formations and the 2 army leaders. Did not roll any successful light cavalry initiatives, so only the 7 command points were available for the French. Turning around for the Prussians, we're going to be seeing a whole lot of command spent for them. We have 1 for the artillery, 1 for the 12th Brigade, 1 over here for the 10th Brigade. Those are 3 of our 4 formation and army leader command points. We also rolled light cavalry initiative here, so the lancers of the 3rd, or Uhlans of the 3rd Corps, can move. Did not spend the point here, so maybe we'll charge them and leave these guys in, ready reserve. The final command point was spent on the activated 2nd Corps. So he will have just about all of his units. Well, not the 5th Brigade. 5th Brigade is out, but the 6th, 7th, and 8th and the artillery should all be in command and be able to move. It was kind of questionable whether or not to spend a command point there, but I figure I have to have one here just in case there's a reaction that needs to be made. If nothing else, I do want to give a shot at getting that Landwehr cavalry to charge. Maybe do some damage in through here. But that means that the cavalry of the 2nd Corps is kind of on its own. So one of the leaders did roll for initiative, so we do have a 2nd Brigade able to move. There's a unit here and another unit underneath here, as well as that one. They're all out of command. The reason they're out of command is because I don't know my colors. I saw the little 2, so I thought, oh yeah, 2nd Brigade. But the purple means 1st Corps, and the yellow is 2nd Corps. So this is the 2nd Corps leader, and these are the 1st Corps, 2nd Brigade. Now their leader was killed, so that's why they're sitting there. But they should probably get an ADC from Blucher's staff over here to pick up that 2nd Brigade and get them, 1st Corps Brigade, and get them moving. So that's where our command is going to be spent. We'll just load up the cup and start drawing.